Hey guys, good morning. Just finished watching a video by a guy that I admire. His name's Thomas DeLauer. He's on YouTube. You can check him out. It's Thomas and then DeLauer, DeLauer. He does lots of videos on keto and fasting and working out. He's a fitness guru, and he's one of the industry leaders on as far as the subject of diet and exercise and those kinds of things. So anyways, I was watching one of his videos this morning, and he's going to go carnivore for 2 weeks starting on May 13th. And I think I'm going to join him. Before I get started on this video, go ahead and hit the like for me, and then hit that subscribe button with the little bell down there so that you get a notification anytime that I make a video so that you can check it out. Hopefully I am helping you or someone you know make a difference in your life with weight loss and just changing your overall health. As many of you know, I'm type 2 diabetic. I have been since 2006, and I've not had a real good grasp or a hold on my diabetes control up until most recently. I have done low carb a lot in the past. Have lost weight from 262 pounds was my heaviest. Now I'm down to about 162. So 100 pounds of weight loss. I'm off of all of my diabetic medications, including my fast acting and my my long acting insulin. I don't take any medications at all. And so I'm optimizing my health by using the ketogenic way of life, and specifically the keto diet. But I think I want to give this carnivore thing a chance with what Thomas DeLauer is doing, this challenge, if you will, for the carnivore diet for 2 weeks, just to see how I feel on that diet. I know it seems like, whenever you think about the keto diet, you think, man, I'm already cutting, a lot of foods out. It's really restrictive. But after you've been keto for a while, you start to realize, there's a lot of things on keto that I can eat that I would not be able to eat any other way of living. If you're doing Weight Watchers or Nutrisystem or any other diet, Jenny Craig, any of those, you can't eat the delicious foods that you're eating on keto, including sweets and baked goods. There's a lot of baked goods and sweets that you can make on keto and consume that you just wouldn't be able to eat on any other diet, and they're actually delicious. I post a lot of recipes on my Facebook page. It's Keto Simplicity. And I post a lot of recipes there, usually desserts, because I have a big sweet tooth, and that's how I got to where I was, being diabetic and being so overweight. And I mean, I'm 6 feet tall, so 262 pounds. I mean, that's not super heavy, but I carry all my weight here, which is almost completely gone now, and that's one of the side effects, of insulin resistance, is that you store your weight in your abdomen, and then you're on your organs, that visceral fat, which is not good for you. It's the worst fat that you can carry, and then being insulin resistant, that's not good either. And so anyways, back to the carnivore diet. So you feel like you're gonna restrict a lot, and that may be true. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna see how it feels, but you're also gonna see, how you feel removing things like nuts and seeds, fibrous veggies. To see how your body reacts to that. Most people say that they feel better on the carnivore diet. I've done some research, and I implore you, do your own research. Don't just take my word for it or Thomas's word for it. Do your own research and look at the information out there. I was just reading some info, and I'll post it in the description. It was an article by Chris Kresser, who is one of the leaders in diet studies and stuff. He's more, I believe he's more of a plant-based keto kind of guy, but he does think that that's the best way to eat, is eliminating all the starchy carbohydrates and those kinds of things. But again, I'll post the link. So most of his article, just, it states that yes, people feel better and there are benefits to the carnivore diet. Does he recommend it? No, he can't really recommend it because of the industry he's in. I think he's with the University of Southern California, um, somewhere down south. Sorry, I don't remember the where he's with, but he's a researcher, and he does a lot of research. He did a Joe Rogan with Dr. Khan. You can check it out. It's a podcast. And they kind of went back and forth. Chris Kresser has lots of data that he cites, and he knows a lot about the diet and the physiology and all those kinds of things behind it. But basically, he just says there's not enough research on the carnivore diet for him to be able to back it, and that's kind of the synopsis of his article. But check it out. Anyways, I'll put the link in my description and see what you think. But I want to give this a chance and see how I feel. Along with Thomas, he's talking about, doing it for a couple weeks and then introducing the foods back in that he was eating before, things like nuts, to see, exactly how you feel introducing those back in. Because once you get to a baseline doing the carnivore, that's eliminating anything that's going to cause an inflammatory response in your body. Meat doesn't cause an inflammatory response unless you're not eating good quality meats. There are omega-6s in fatty cuts of meat that the meat grazes on grain primarily. So you're getting the omega-6s, which causes an inflammatory response. But still, if you're already eating those meats on the keto diet, the response that you feel may be minimal. But when you're doing this carnivore diet, I would recommend that you try to get those good quality cuts of meat just for the 2 weeks, so that you can get to a baseline, so you know how your body feels without any of that inflammatory stuff going on in your system, so that then when you start introducing those things back in, like nuts, you can see, wow, man, I notice how poorly I feel eating nuts, or how you feel fine. It could be either way. Both ends of the spectrum. People will. It's very individualized on how you feel eating those things. Some people may have a problem, others may not. So that's the good thing about doing the carnivore diet, is it kind of erases the chalkboard, if you will, cleans it off, so that then whenever you start eating those things again, you'll notice if how it feels. Eating a carnivore diet, the carnivore, the meats, the fatty cuts of red meat, and those kinds of things, they're broken down and more in the upper GI. So it also mimics a fast. It's like you're cleaning out your gut, because the red meat, it's not making it to the lower portion of your gut and colon. Which is, a big thing about, because red meat causes colon cancer, right? That's what the research wants us to believe, but it's not. It's not the case, because meat is broken down in your upper GI. I saw a video by Dr. Ken Berry, who was talking to one of his patients who had a colostomy bag, and it was a upper colostomy. So whenever he eats meat, Dr. Berry asked him, well, what do you notice? And this is kind of gross. If you can't stomach it, I'm sorry. What do you notice in your bag whenever you eat meat? And he's like, oh, it's just the liquid that comes out. There's nothing there. And then whenever he eats veggies and fibrous stuff like that, he'll notice that the veggies are coming out not digested. And that's because veggies and fibrous things and all that stuff is digested lower in your gut, in your intestinal tract. So the bacteria works on that stuff down lower, and it ferments it. And so whenever you're eating carnivore, you're clearing your gut out. So it mimics a fast. You also get more autophagy benefit from eating just the meat, because again, the gut biome, it's mimicking a fast. So you get to take advantage of that as well. So You can research a little bit yourself. I implore you again to do that. There's lots of information on the carnivore because it's kind of a new fad, if you will. But the amount of information out there is going to be limited because it hasn't been something we've studied long. But even our ancestral people that back in the day, nomads and that kind of stuff, they consumed a lot of fatty meats. And you'll see that Chris Kresser talks about that in the article that I will attach. In South Dakota, even and living on buffalo primarily, but they were still eating berries and stuff they find along the way while they were following the herds of buffalo. So there was still some amount of fibrous carbohydrates that they were consuming, very small, but maybe. I didn't live back then, so I'm not sure, as no one else did either. So we are limited on our research of the carnivore diet, but we can give it a try and see how our body feels, even if it's only for a short time. You may do it and think, man, I've never felt better than this, and you can continue with it. So, but let's give it a shot and see how we feel. And if you want to, then I challenge you to try it. But check out Thomas DeLauer's video on it. He has some good information about why he's doing it as well. But other than that, I hope you guys are having a good day, and let's try the carnivore and see how we feel. All right, you guys have a good one.